There's a feeling most people never talk about. The quiet exhaustion of always being the one who cares more. Someone calls you only when they need something. Someone remembers you only when their world falls apart. And every time you answer because deep down it feels like love. But what if it was never love? What if it was just convenience? This story is about a truth we were never taught. We were raised to believe that love means always being there. We were told that good people never walk away. But sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is finally ask one honest question. Am I being loved? Or am I just being needed? This is the story of a woman named Lena. Lena grew up in a town where the streets were narrow and the houses leaned close together as if they were holding each other up. She was the kind of person you would not notice at first. She did not speak loudly. She did not demand attention. But if you looked closely, you would see that she was always there, standing just behind the moments where someone needed help. Her mother had been the same way. A woman who cooked for every funeral, who cleaned for every neighbour, who smiled through every pain she carried. And when her mother died at 53, the whole town came to the funeral and said what a beautiful soul she was. Lena remembered standing at the grave thinking she gave everything and no one ever gave her a single day of rest. But instead of learning from that, Lena carried the same weight forward because it was the only version of love she had ever been shown. She married a man named Joel. He was tall and steady, with a calm voice and a habit of making everything sound reasonable. Joel was not a bad man. He worked hard. He came home every night. But Joel had one pattern that never changed. When things were good, he was present. He laughed at dinner. He kissed her forehead before sleep. He made her feel like the center of his world. But when things were difficult, when money was tight, or his work became stressful, or something did not go the way he had planned, Joel disappeared. Not physically, he was still in the house, but emotionally, he was gone. He would sit in the living room staring at his phone for hours without speaking. If Lena asked what was wrong, he would say nothing, and the words sat between them like a locked door. So Lena did what she had always done. She filled the silence. She cooked his favourite meals. She kept the house spotless. She asked nothing and gave everything hoping that her effort would bring him back. And it always did, eventually. He would return to warmth as if nothing had happened. And Lena told herself this was marriage. She told herself this was what commitment looked like. You carry someone through their dark seasons, and you do not complain because that is what strong women do. Her closest friend was a woman named Priya. They had known each other since university, and Priya was everything Lena was not. Bold, expressive, full of opinions that she shared whether you asked for them or not. Lena loved that about her. But over the years, a pattern formed that Lena never questioned. Every phone call between them was about Priya, her problems at work, her fights with her sister, her frustrations with dating. Lena listened to all of it. She gave advice. She stayed on the phone for hours, even when she was exhausted. And when the call ended, Priya always said, "You are the best friend anyone could ever have." Those words made Lena feel needed. And feeling needed felt so close to feeling loved that she never learned to tell the difference. There was also a younger cousin named Amir. He was 22 and still finding his way. He had dropped out of college twice and moved between jobs the way some people move between cities, always looking for something but never staying long enough to find it. Lena became his anchor. She helped him write his resumes. She lent him money she could not afford to lose. She answered his calls at midnight when he was confused or frustrated or lonely. She told herself she did not mind because family is supposed to show up. But deep down she was keeping count, not of the money, of the silence. Because Amir never once called just to ask how she was doing. It happened on an ordinary Wednesday in November. Lena woke up and could not get out of bed. It was not sickness exactly. It was something heavier. Her body felt like it had been carrying something for years and had finally decided to put it down without asking her permission. She called in sick to work. She cancelled a dinner she had planned for Joel's colleagues. She texted Priya and said she was not feeling well and could not talk today. Then she lay in bed and waited. She did not know what she was waiting for. Maybe she was waiting for someone to notice. Joel came home that evening and saw her still in bed. He asked if she was okay. She said she was tired. He nodded and went to the kitchen and ordered food for himself. He did not bring her anything. He did not come back to check on her. He watched something on his phone in the living room and went to sleep on the couch because he said he did not want to disturb her. The next day was the same, and the day after that. Lena stayed in bed for 5 days. On the second day, she received a text from Priya. It said, "Hey, I have something crazy to tell you. Call me when you can." Lena did not respond. Priya did not text again. On the fourth day, Amir called. Lena felt something lift inside her chest when she saw his name. She answered, and before she could say hello, he asked if she could help him rewrite a cover letter because he had found a new job listing and the deadline was tomorrow. She said she was not feeling well. He said it would only take 20 minutes. She hung up and stared at the ceiling for a long time. And in that silence, something became very clear. It did not arrive with anger. It did not arrive with tears. It arrived the way the morning light enters a room you have been sleeping in for too long. Slowly and without permission. She began to see the pattern. Every relationship in her life had the same shape. She gave. They received. She disappeared. They did not look for her. Joel loved her when she made his life comfortable. When she stopped, he simply adjusted around her absence like water moving around a stone. Priya valued her as a listener, not as a person, but as a function. The moment that function was unavailable, Priya moved on without a second thought. Amir saw her as a resource, reliable and always available. And when the resource was down, he did not ask why. He just looked for what he still needed from her. Lena was not angry at any of them. That was the part that surprised her most. She was not angry because she finally understood that she had built this, not on purpose and not with awareness, but she had trained every person in her life to treat her as someone who gives and never needs. She had made it so easy to take from her that no one ever thought to offer anything back. And the hardest truth she faced that week, lying in her bed with no one coming through the door, was this. She had not been loved. She had been needed. And those two things are nothing alike. On the 6th morning, Lena got out of bed. She did not feel healed. She did not feel strong. But she felt something she had not felt in years. She felt honest. She stood in front of the bathroom mirror and looked at herself, and for the first time in a very long time, she did not see a wife, a friend, a helper, or a rescuer. She just saw a woman who was tired of disappearing. She made a decision that morning. She would not stop giving. That was not who she wanted to become. But she would stop giving from an empty place. She would stop saying yes when her whole body was screaming no. She would stop measuring her worth by by how much she could carry for someone else. The first test came that same week. Priya called again, this time with a long story about a co-worker who had insulted her. Normally, Lena would have listened for an hour and offered comfort and advice and encouragement. But this time she interrupted gently and said, Priya, I need to tell you something. I've been going through a hard time, and I realized that in all the years we have been friends, I've never told you when I was struggling. That is my fault. But I need this friendship to go in both directions, or I cannot keep showing up the way I have been. There was a long silence. Priya did not know what to say at first. But then she said something she had never said before. She said, tell me what happened. And Lena did. It was not a perfect conversation. It was awkward and fragile, but it was real. And real was something they had never had before. Joel was harder. He did not respond to words the same way. So Lena stopped speaking with actions instead of asking with words. She stopped anticipating his needs before he expressed them. She stopped filling every silence with effort. At first, Joel was confused. Then he was uncomfortable. Then slowly and without announcement, he began to do something he had never done. He began to ask, small things at first. Do you want tea? How was your day? Are you okay? The questions were clumsy and sometimes the timing was wrong, but they were real, and they were his. And that was enough for now. Amir was the last. He called again 2 weeks later, asking for help with something. Lena answered and said, Amir, I love you. You are my family. But I need you to hear something. I have been helping you for 3 years, and not once have you asked me how I am doing. I do not say this to make you feel guilty. I say this because I want us to have something real, not just something convenient. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, You are right, and I am sorry. He did not ask for help that day. He asked how she was. It was a small moment, but it was the first time Lena received something instead of giving it. And in that tiny shift, something enormous began. Lena did not become a different person. She became the same person with boundaries, and the people who truly loved her did not leave. They came closer. Lena did not become a selfish woman. She did not stop caring. She did not build walls around her heart. She simply learned to care with her eyes open. She learned that giving from an empty place is not generosity, it is survival. And she learned that the people who truly love you do not disappear when you stop performing for them. They step closer. In the months that followed, something quiet and beautiful happened. Lena began to notice people she had overlooked for years. A co-worker who always asked how her weekend was and actually waited for the answer. A neighbour who left flowers at her door once without explanation. A childhood friend who sent a message every few months that simply said thinking of you. These people had always been there, but Lena had been so focused on earning love from the people who never gave it freely that she missed the ones who already did. If you are listening to this and something inside you feels heavy, I want you to ask yourself one question, not tomorrow, right now. When was the last time someone showed up for you without you having to earn it? The people who love you are not the ones who need you the most. They are the ones who notice when you go quiet. They are the ones who do not wait for you to break before they ask if you are okay. Being needed feels powerful. It feels like purpose, but need does not care about you. Need only cares about what you provide. And the moment you stop providing, need moves on to the next open door. You are not a service. You are not a function. You are a whole person with your own weight and your own wants and your own right to be seen without giving something first. Start there. Start with one small thing you do only for yourself, not because you earned it, not because you finished everything else first, but because you matter even when you are not useful. That is not selfishness. That is the first honest act of love you may have ever given yourself. Lena planted nothing that morning. She simply sat in her garden and let the sun reach her face. And for the first time in years, she did not feel guilty for resting. If this story made you feel something, if you saw yourself somewhere inside it, then you are exactly where you are supposed to be. This channel exists for people like you. Every story here is a mirror, and if you press like, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs to hear it, or subscribe so you do not miss what comes next, you are not just supporting a channel, you are telling someone else that they are not alone. And that is not a small thing. That is love. Real love. We will see you in the next story.